Hey, friends, are you ready for another non-mathy day, kind of more language arts day? Well, then here it is. Today we're going to convert story problems into algebraic expressions. That is going to be building on what we did last lesson. Last lesson we had the math sentence written out and we just needed to convert it to an algebraic sentence. Now it's kind of more hidden in a story problem. So as we read the story problem, we're still going to do the same thing we did last lesson, but now we're going to need to find the phrase that needs translated. Let me give you an example to start off with. Carlos and Brandon had P pencils and E erasers. So do you see how they don't exactly know how many of each they have? So they just put a P there instead of like 7 pencils because they don't exactly know how many pencils they have. They don't know how many erasers they have, so they just put an E there to help them know, okay, this is where once we figure out how many erasers we have, we'll slip it in for the E spot. They combined these and split them equally. Well, from our notes yesterday, I know that combined means we're going to add, and split them equally means we're going to divide. What are we combining and splitting? The pencils and the erasers. So Carlos and Brandon, they first combined the pencils and erasers. I'm going to put that in parentheses because that's what they did first. After that, they split them equally. I know that splitting equally means we're going to divide. So I could write it like this, divide. And how many did they split them equally between? There's just Carlos and Brandon. So I'm going to divide it by 2. So that's one way we could write it. We could also write it like this. Combine the pencils and erasers and then split them equally between the two of them. That's what we're doing today. So it's not much different than what we did last lesson. It's just a step more. I'm trying to kind of baby step you up to be super awesome. So let's do some in our notes now. An artist charges $5 for each person in a cartoon drawing. Write an algebraic expression for the cost in dollars for a drawing that includes P people. Well, there's our variable. We don't know how many people, but we know we're going to use a P. Okay, so here is the math sentence that I think we're going to translate. It's $5 for each person. Where's our math word? The math word is each. It is $5 for each person. That means every single person is going to be $5. That means that we're going to times. Now, when we write this algebraic expression, we don't really need the dollar sign. So it's just going to be $5 for each. We don't know how many people, so we're just going to put a P. Okay, we don't know how many people, which is why they gave us the variable P. I could write it like that, or I could just write it like this, 5P. So now if I know how many people the artist saw and helped, then I can know how much money he earned. So if he had 10 people, well, that's 5 times 10, he earned $50. Okay, we're actually going to be doing that in a lesson in the future. So today we're just writing the expression. Sorry, I promised that we wouldn't have any math, and then I did math. We're just writing the expression today. Jake is 5 years older than his brother Kevin. Kevin is K years old. There's our variable. So we want to know, write an algebraic expression for Jake's age. We don't know Jake's age, but we do know that he is 5 years older. That means once we know Kevin's age, we'll just add 5 years to that, won't we? So let's take 5 years and let's add Kevin's age to it. So as soon as we know Kevin's age, we'll plug it in for the K, add 5 to it, and we will have Jake's age. So this is an algebraic expression that will tell us Jake's age as soon as we know Kevin's age, right? At a restaurant, 6 people can fit on a big table and 4 people can fit on a small table. Write an algebraic expression for the number of people who can sit at B, big tables, and S, small tables. So how many people can fit on big tables? 6 people can fit on big tables. So 6 people can fit on each big table. Do we agree with that? And 4 people can sit at each small table. So 6 times B will tell us how many the big tables will fit. 4 times S will tell us how many small tables the people can fit, how many people can fit on the small tables. So then what do we do with the big tables and the small tables to find the number of people who can fit on both of those? Well, let's add them together. Once we add the big tables and the small tables, we will get our total amount of who can fit on all of the tables. At a state park charges a $6 entry fee plus, I know that word, $7.50 per night of camping. I know per is a math word too. Write an algebraic expression for the cost in dollars of entering the park and camping for N nights. All right, so if I just go to the state park and camp, I'm going to have to pay a $6 entry fee just to get into the park. Plus, what else am I going to have to pay? Plus, I have to pay $7.50 per night. So every single night I have to pay $7.50. I can write that $7.50 per would be times. Do I know how many nights? If it was just one night, I could just say $7.50, right? But what if I camp for 2 nights? Then I'd have to go $7.50 plus $7.50. What if I camp the whole week? That'd be $7.50 plus $7.50 plus, that'd be times 7, right? So because we don't know how many nights we're going to camp, we're just going to use the variable N that they gave us. And that will give us the total amount. It'll be $7.50 for every single night plus an entry fee. We only have to pay that entry fee once. Once we go into the park, then we're in and we just have to pay for the camping, which is $7.50 per night. Okay, we'll see a lot of questions like this on your mastery check and on the tests and all of that. So we'll keep practicing questions like this. Julie earns $8 per hour. She worked 8 hours last week, but got fined $10 for being late. Oh, how much did Julie earn? All right, I see $8 per, and then per hour. And we don't know how many hours she worked yet. That's why we have an H for hours. So $8 per hour last week. We could also just write that 8H, right? And that's the same as times. So $8 per hour, but then she got fined $10 for being late. Do you think she got an extra $10 or do you think she had to take $10 out of her money? Yeah, this is a takeaway, isn't it? If you get fined, then you have to subtract that money. It is taken away from you. So we're going to subtract the $10 then, and that will give us how much Julie earned. So as soon as we find out that she worked so many hours, whatever the exact number of hours is, we can figure out how much she earned. Should we try it? Let's say she worked, most people who work full-time work 40 hours. So that would be 8 times 40 minus $10. So we're going to times first because we're still following order of operations and minus the $10. And then she will have made $310. Kind of cool, huh? But again, this, you just had to watch. We'll do that in a future lesson. Jane had $105 in her bank account. 1 year later, she had X dollars more. Write an algebraic expression that shows her new balance. Well, we know she had 105, and then she had X dollars more. If she had more, we're adding, right? My guess is she added more during the year, but we don't know exactly how much she added more, so that's why we have to put the X. So she had $105 to start with, and then she added X amount more. That expression will give us how much her new balance is. If she added $1 more, then her balance will be 106, right? If she added 100 more, her balance will be 205. All right, how do we feel? This is kind of new and different and fun, isn't it? Being able to translate from math to English or English to math. It just is going to take a lot of practice. So make sure you're putting forth a good effort into learning this, and it will become easier slowly, but it will get easier, I promise, especially if you're really trying, getting the help that you need. So let's see how you're doing. A cell phone company charges $40 per month plus 5 cents for each text message sent. Select the expressions that represent the cost in dollars for just 1 month of cell phone usage and sending M text messages. So this is just 1 month. So it's 40 times 1, right? So really that's all just $40 for 1 month. So now what you need to figure out is 40M plus 5 cents, 40 plus 5 cents plus times 1. What do you think? Well, it's going to be $40 no matter what for that first month, or for 1 month, right? Because it's $40 for every month. Plus, you also have to pay for text messages. This must be a really old question, because when I very first got my first cell phone when I was like 20 years old, you had to pay for every text message you sent. Nowadays, you don't have to worry about that. But back in my day, because I'm so old, you had to pay for each text message, and it was 5 cents. Okay, so each text message you sent was 5 cents. That means we're going to times. So 5 cents for each, what are we using for text message? M. 5 cents for each text message, which means B is correct. There's the $40 for the month and the 5 cents for each text message. This will also work if you look at it. Doesn't this show 40 more than the product of 5/100ths and M? Yeah, so both of those are correct. Last problem. How much does it cost to rent a boat for a day? Let G be used for the number of gallons used. So the Big Lake boat rental, it's $200 a day, and then $4 for each gallon of gasoline used. So we're just going to rent the boat for a day. What's it going to cost us? Well, if we just rent it for a day, it's $200. And look what else we have to pay for. We also have to pay for the $4 for each gallon of gas. So if we don't go very far, it'll be 4 times 1 or 2 gallons, right? If we go a long ways, we're like 100 miles, that's 4 times 100 plus the $200 on top of it. So either of these will work. Okay, keep practicing. See you later.